Hello and welcome to this week's Power Engineering International newscast. I'm Dermot Williams. This week's most topical news so far includes research shows diffidence of investors to power sector set to continue, Vietnam to build power plant despite warnings over coal shortage, Saudi Electric eye British nuclear power sector stake, and leaked plan shows true extent of Germany's nuclear waste disposal. New analysis of the power market undertaken by top global insurance company Marsh shows that diffidence by the investment community towards funding the sector is set to continue. At a press briefing in the company's London headquarters on Tuesday, Mark Pollard, leader of Marsh's European power practice, said that the period of comfortable regulation was unlikely to return at least in the short term, and subsequent lack of confidence by investors would persist. Pollard said the capital for investment was plentiful. Institutions are longing to put the capital in, but a continuing holding pattern and damage limitation exercised by regulators militated against it. He fielded questions at the launch of Marsh's risk management research, the state of the power industry, the lost era of regulatory certainty. Investors expect performance for a minimum period of 20 years, and uncertainty from regulators can mess up investors' return. So investors are diffident, he said, adding that the consequence of that diffidence is that infrastructure is slowing in the sector. Investors don't trust policymakers. Pollard concluded by saying that innovation could change the whole paradigm, particularly in the area of electricity storage, which isn't yet at an industrial scale, pointing specifically to the recent news of a container-based fusion reactor announced by Lockheed Martin. He said that it was even possible that Marsh's survey could be superseded by such technological breakthroughs. Vietnam is going ahead with plans to build a new coal-fired power plant, despite experts warning over the nation's coal depletion and the dangers of depending on imported fuel. The 1200 megawatt Unit 2 of the 4400 megawatt supercritical Long Pu plant to be built in Soc Trang by India's Tata Power will cost $1.8 billion and will represent India's biggest investment in Vietnam to date. It is expected to run on coal shipped from Indonesia or Australia. Energy analysts are advising Vietnam against taking a risk in setting up new thermal power plants without clear sources of coal supply. News outlet Vietnam.net reported. The nation's domestic coal production has been falling below government targets, and in August the government announced that it would consider adjusting its plan for coal imports to begin earlier and import more. According to the Asian Development Bank, Vietnam's power demand is expected to grow by 14% per year to 2015 and by 11% per year from 2016 to 2020. Coal will almost certainly remain the country's dominant source of power. Top Saudi Arabian utility Saudi Electric is in negotiations with EDF with a view to a stake in the UK's most important nuclear power project. Sky News reports that the company is in the running for a minority stake in the £24.5 billion Hinkley Point nuclear power project in Somerset, southwestern England. EDF will own up to 50% of Hinkley Point, with Areva, a French infrastructure company, holding 10% of the shares. Two state-owned Chinese groups, China General Nuclear Power Corporation and China National Nuclear Corporation, will collectively own between 30 to 40%. Saudi Electric could own between 10 to 15% of the venture if the talks are successful. A leaked German government document has revealed that the country's nuclear power industry will have to dispose of almost twice as much waste as had previously been forecast. Süddeutsche Zeitung reports that around 600,000 cubic meters of nuclear waste will have to be placed in permanent underground storage instead of the anticipated 298,000 cubic meters. A copy of Germany's draft national disposal plan leaked to the paper showed that because of the inclusion of for the first time of 13,000 tons of waste from uranium enrichment, equivalent to around 100,000 cubic meters, the figures are considerably higher. That's all from this week's PEI newscast. For more up-to-the-minute power generation industry news, go to Power Engineering International website.